Right, this is part 2. I'm hoping I can do all of these in one go. So it's only 2 videos for you. Okay. Remember that the whole point of me doing it on YouTube, bags everywhere. The whole point of me doing it on YouTube is so you can pause and do this at your own pace. That's the only reason that I'm doing this way. Okay, and it's to maximise the lesson time that you have, not always just focusing on these papers, because it could take up to 6 lessons to go through these papers in detail. So the staff are only going to pick up key stuff, and then you are going to have to do your job and make sure you watch this. Okay. Right, there are 3 cards in box A and B, which you can see 3, 4, and 5, 2, 9, and 3. Ryan takes a card at random from box A and a card from box B. So they're going to take it random. He then adds it together, so that's key information. You can add it together to make a total score. So remember, I highlighted that earlier. Do total. What's the probability? It's going to be odd. So let's do some combinations. So let's just choose the 3 first. So we'll do 3, add 2, 3, add 3, and 3, add 9. So that's all the options you can have with the 3 first. So cross that out. This is your assessment, remember. You'll have to do whatever you want to these diagrams. So if this helps you get through this and be really clear with what you're doing, that's what I expect you to do. So let's do the 4. 4 add 2, 4 add 3, 4 add 9. So you can see, look, I'm just being really consistent. I'm not missing anything out. That's that one done. And then the 5. So 5 add 2, 5 add 3, 5 add 9. And I've obviously got to work them out. So 5, 6, 12, 6, 7, 13, 7, 8, 14. Okay, so just double check them, make sure you're there. Okay, so they're all the possible outcomes from this. Okay, when you want to know the probability, I'll say it again and again and again. It is a fraction they are looking for. Do not use a ratio. Okay, do not use percentages. Just use a fraction, please. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 options. Okay, and you have to just identify which ones are odd. So remember, odd numbers end in 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. So anything that ends in that we're going to have. So 5. This highlight is rubbish. 5, 7, 13, 7. We've got them there. So there's only 4 that are odd. So the answer is 4 out of 9. Okay. I mean, what they've done is they've been a little bit cheeky where they've changed this question. This used to be like you're going to buy 3 sandwiches from this shop and 2 drinks from this shop. What are all the combinations? It's one of those, but they've just sort of disguised it. Some of you did well and remembered to do this. Okay. Some of you really did not understand what to do when it had gone that way. Okay, ratio. Harry, Regan, and is it Kellen share £450 into the ratio 2, 5, 3. Okay, so you can do it 2 ways. This is a basic share, just sharing this out. This is not for one person, this is for everybody. So for this 450, we've got to share it out into these 3 people. Okay, so what's his face? Harry's going to get 2 bits. Regan's going to get 5 bits. Okay, and the other one, we'll call him the other one, is going to get 3 bits. This is bar modelling. This way works well. Okay, you could just simply add these together. This is the non-pictorial way. And you know you've got 10 parts. However you do it, the next bit's the same. So we need to share this 450 across these 10 boxes. So each one of these would have to be 45. So on. Press roll is 45s. Or you could do it this way. So 450 divided by 10 is 45. Okay, so that's 1 part. Okay, so you can see on the diagram that each part is 45. That's easy. Keelan gets 3 parts, so he gets 3 lots of 45. Okay, this one, the other way, you can see that the ratio is 2 to 5 to 3. Each of these will be multiplied by 45. So the process is exactly the same. Okay, 3 times 40 is 120. 3 times 5 is 15, so it's 135, however you do it. Okay, I like bar modelling because even the tougher questions that may appear later on, where it may say that Regan actually gets, I don't know, £90 more than Keelan, then it's the same thing. It's just as easy to, because you've got the diagram drawn for yourself. Okay, so not bad. It's a nice question. No difference for that than it's been ever. So it's always been like that. Okay. Here is a list of different one. Here's a list of ingredients for 16 people. We want to make it a recipe for 24 people. Now, if this is a calculator question, you could divide more by 16, figure out what one person gets, and times more by 24. Well, that's going to be a pain, especially with that 2 tablespoons and so on, and the 250. It's not ideal. So the best way is to think, what number can I turn them all into? What's the best number I can turn them into? What's the easiest amount of people I can turn it into to turn it into a recipe for 24 people? So what is the best amount to go for? So you have to think of numbers that fit into 16 and 24. So 2 fits into both of them, 4 fits into both of them, and 8 fits into both of them. And I like 8. So if I turn this into a recipe for 8 people, okay, so for 8 flapjacks, sorry, and that's easy when it's 16, I can just halve them, so let me halve them. It's now straightforward to turn the recipe for 8 people into a recipe for 24, because I could just multiply them all by 3. So if I times them all by 3, multiply them by 3, I'll get 3 tablespoons of syrup. 300s is 300, 325s is 75, so it's 375. 370s, well 3 times 7 is 21, so it's 210. 3 times 6 is 18 with a 0. Okay, so it's about a common factor. The highest common factor is the easiest approach. So 8 was the easiest one that fit into both. So 180, 210, 375, and 3. So it's what numbers, what is the best number to go into both of them? It's all about knowing your factors. Okay, what times table they're both in. Okay, there we go. So that gives us 2, 4, 7 more marks. That takes up to 47. So far, we're really getting close to that grade 5. Okay, very close. We're way into grade 4. Okay, I'll definitely say you've got a grade 4 if you could do all that so far. Okay, and there's still more to play for. So if you've dropped 10 to 15 marks already, or even 20 marks, there's still pages left. There's still at least 30 marks left, you know, for you to have a go at. So it's not over if you've really not done well in the first half of the paper. Right, Amy and Josh use the calculator to work this out. They get those answers. Okay, one of them is correct. Use approximations to find out which answer is correct. Okay, so it's just up to you to remember that approximation is the same as estimation. Okay, so it's the same thing as estimation. So the first step for that is to rewrite the question to one significant figure. So I don't like 595, I prefer 600. I definitely don't like 4.08, so I like 4. I don't like 5.3, so I like 5. And then start to calculate pieces. So 600 is going to stay. 4 squared is 16, add 5. Gives me 600 over 21. Now, because I'm estimating, you know, it's only a rough guess. I just need to know if it's an answer in the hundreds or if it's an answer in the 20s, in the 10s. So I can just change this again, really. I can just do 600 divided by 20, which means the answer should be roughly near 30. And if it's roughly near 30, well, Amy's answer is close to 30. Josh's answer is up in the hundreds, so he's definitely got it wrong. So Amy is correct. Okay, so I couldn't just say that because I'd get nothing. I had to back it up with all this. Okay, and the little tweak, the little change was here where I'd re-estimated. I sort of re-rounded there to make the job easier, and that doesn't always happen. So some of you might have persevered with dividing by 21. It would have been fine. That would have absolutely fine. Okay, so that's an extra 3. Not bad for an estimation question, 3 marks. We didn't have to divide by a dodgy decimal or anything. We do now, by the way. So, give your answer in standard form. So remember, standard form is going to be times 10. It's going to have a power. It's only allowed one digit behind on the left of the decimal point, and then the rest will be decimals, whatever we get. Okay, so let's start to work this bit out. So first of all, I'm going to do the top. So 0.06 times 0.0003. Well, I'm not doing that, am I? I'm just going to do 6 times 3, which is 18. And here we've got 2 numbers behind the decimal. Here I've got 4 numbers behind the decimal. So in total, I need to go back 6 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this gives me 0.1, 2, 3, 4. That's the top, okay, of our fraction now. I've got to divide by 0.01. Okay. So hopefully, if you get the idea here, what I'm gonna do is sort the base of this out because I don't like it. Now there's a few ways to do this. Okay, you can do it a variety of ways. So what I'm going to do is multiply the bottom by 100 and multiply the top by 100. That gives me 0. Let's put it back there. So 0.0018 over 1, and that is the same as 0.0018. Okay, or you could divide it by 1 itself and got the same thing and then move the decimal place 2 places along. It just depends on what you know, but this is my preferred way. It's kind of like this question with estimation. Sometimes you have the decimal on the bottom, and I think moving it like this is the best option. But that's not the answer because it's not in standard form. So in standard form, the decimal point actually will have to be here. So it's going to be 1.8. This pen keeps breaking. 1.8. It's going to be times 10 because that is our system. It's a decimal system. And the power has to be 3. But because it's a decimal, it's going to be negative 3. So it's 1.8 times 10 to the minus 3. Best sharpen that up. Like that. Okay. And that's fairly tough, you know. I mean, if you can do the calculation, great. And then you have to convert after. So sometimes, the reason I think it's tough, sometimes you just get a question which is convert this number into standard form, and that's it. Or you get calculate this, and that's it. But they're kind of robbing the marks from you in the end, because I think some of you can do standard form conversions, and you're not getting an opportunity to do that. Right, this one, when you add or take away fractions, that is where you've got the most work to do. So that's where you start to change the bases. You cannot add unless the base is the same. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by 4, multiply by 5 to get 8 over 20 and 5 over 20. When the base is the same, it stays the same, and we add those up. So that's 13 over 20. Dead easy. Really, really is easy. It's just do you remember what to do. You can do this method. So you've got, what have you got? 2/5 and 1/4. Okay, and this is always the denominator. And you add the diagonals. So that's the good way. I don't like that way, but there you go if you like it. This one, again, they're just really tight on the marks. 2 cubed, by the way, is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. It does not say 2 to the power of 3. It says 2 to the power of minus 3. The minus power stands for 1 over. So the actual answer is 1 over 8. Okay, so just tough. It's just an annoying thing that I didn't give you a chance for 2 marks, but there you go. The next one is probably the easiest question on the whole paper, and it's right, like it's way after the middle, you know, so it's very frustrating. So the message is do not be put off by some early hard questions, because later on there's going to be questions that you know. Okay, so 36 as a product means multiply, everybody. Yeah, it means an answer after you've multiplied. So the answers will have a multiplication symbol, not add, or just a blank space, or just a comma. There's 2 ways of doing this. My preferred way is this way. So I write down my prime numbers. Okay, and start to unpick this. So 2 goes to 18 times, 2 goes to 18 9 times, 2 does not fit into 9, but 3 does 3 times, 3 fits into 3 once, So I've finished. So the answer is these. So it's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. That way is just not taking off. People are not remembering that way, so I'll stop dwelling on it and go for the tree method, where you just think of 2 numbers to make it. So do whatever you want. I'm going to do 4 and 9. Neither of those are prime, so remember 2, 3, 5, 7, not 9, 11. So these both need breaking down. So 2 times 2, well, 2 is prime. 3 times 3, they're prime, and we've got the same solution. So 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. It does not ask you to put it in index form, so you don't have to. But I have. Okay, so I do not encourage you to do that unless it tells you to, because you're not getting any credit for that. This is the same amount of marks it is for that. Okay. Right, that takes me up to, that gives me an extra 3, 6, 9, 11 more marks. So that takes me up to 58. That is a guaranteed grade 5. Okay, on this 58. I think I would say guaranteed. One sec. Let me just make sure it is. Yeah, that is a guaranteed grade 5. In the actual paper, when this was done in November, it was way less than that. It was like 48 marks or something like that. But the boundaries I'm using in your class, I've gone for 56 for a 5. So on this tough paper, it's not going to be 56 every paper. So if you're hitting this now, that is guaranteed. But that again is making sure that you've made no mistakes to guarantee a 5. So let me just see how that looks. I've got an extra 4, 8, 12, 16. I could probably work it out if I just did it that way. 20, 21, 23. That doesn't match. So, but I've got loads of marks to go for. So again, let's say you have missed roughly 20 marks so far. Okay, there's still that to play for. It's still here. Okay, there's still questions that you'll be okay with. All right, they will get harder because now they're going to be on the higher paper as well. Some of these questions are already on the higher paper because it does overlap. Remember, and they're going to get, because it's on the higher, they're going to be much more like solving problems and just answering basic questions. But you know, there still might be some easy marks to gain. So it's just reading through and just having a quick glance. I can see there's at least 3 or 4 questions that are just straightforward, just easy to do. Okay, we were discussing this name, Chiaria, who knows, is 7 years older than Jay. Martha is twice as old as the other one, and the sum of their ages is 77. So when these 3 ages are added together, it'll equal 77. Okay, so it all starts with someone being older than Jay. So Jay we don't know. So we'll have J as X. Chiaria is 7 years older. Okay, and Martha is twice as old as Chiaria. So that's what we've got. Okay. So what we need to do is start to process this. So processing it means, well, I've got a form a ratio, but there's no way I can form a ratio from this information. All I can do is find what X is, the unknown age, of J. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to leave these 2 alone because I've got this bracket begging me to expand it. So that's what I've done. I've expanded that. These equal 77. Then I'm going to collect what the X is. So X add 2X is 4X. 7 add 14 is 21. And it's produced, look, this easy equation, this really easy equation, which most of you, can do. So I'm going to get rid of the 21. So 4x equals 77 take away 20 is 57, take away 1 is 56. And then divide by 4, x equals 9. Okay, so you might have to take your time to do that bit, but there we go. So what I know now for these people is I know the algebraic expression that I made up for them. Okay, so J was X, so he's just 9 years old. Says Chiaria was X add 7, so 9 add 7 is 16. Okay, and Martha was double that, so she was 32. One sec, it's gone a bit crazy there. Not 7, not 9. 1 second. Yeah. Hopefully just didn't write that down. Half it's 28, half against 14. So let me do that a bit again. So 14 is J. Kiaria is J's age adds 7, so that's 21. And Martha is double Kiaria, so she's 42. Okay? So that is the ratio of their ages together. Okay, that's what we've got. Okay, it's a little bit tricky, but it's a great question to learn, especially from the mocks, where you have to be able to form and solve something, and ratio creeps in everywhere. Okay, but that was worth 4 marks, so it should have been quite tough, especially at this stage. Okay, this is one when I did the exam presentation where I said you can't write F or Z or C angles because it just doesn't work. Okay, you don't get anything for it. But what you can see is ABCD is a parallelogram, so these two are parallel to each other, these two lines, and so are these two. So you could have alternate angles on the inside, you could have corresponding angles from the outside, you could have a range of things. You've got a triangle here, so we know that that could equal 180. So we need to see what we've got. We need to start messing around with this one. So EDC is a straight line. That might be a clue that we're going to need this. If it's a straight line, we know that angles on a straight line add up to 180. F is a point on AD. So F is a point on AD, so that BFE is a straight line. So this is a straight line. So this adds up to 180, and the outside bit, that adds up to 180. So that's key information. We have to show that angle ABF, this one here, we have to show that that is 70. That's what we have to demonstrate. Okay, we have to give reasons for what we're doing. Okay, so we just need to start figuring out what we can sort of fill out really. So if I knew this angle, I knew that these two would be co-interior, so I could go that way. The information I have got is that this is 75. Okay, so if that's 75, the only angle this has got an easy relationship with right now is, as this is a parallelogram, I think that is also 75. But what I could say is that these two here, this is co-interior, supplementary. So this is 105. So I could do that. I could also say that this angle here is 75 because corresponding angles are equal. I could also say that this 35 is the same as this angle here. So that's 35 because corresponding angles are equal. There's so many different approaches that you can do, so it's just how you want to go about the question itself. I could even say that this whole angle here, ABC, and angle BCD are co-interior, so this 75 and the whole angle that you can see I've done here add up to 180 and go that way. So I've got a range of options. So I've decided what I'm going to do at last. So I'm going to say that angle ABC and angle DCB or BCD are co-interior, and add to 180 degrees. So angle ABC equals 105. So got a good pale pen. So this angle here and this whole angle here add up to 180. So this whole angle is 105. Okay? So the whole thing's 105. I know that angle EFD, so look how I'm doing it, EFD is corresponding, because you can see it's cutting through the power lines, to FBC. So FBC. and corresponding angles are equal. So this is definitely 35. Okay, so if that's 35, we know that angle ABF equals 105 take away 35, which is 70. Because you can see the whole thing, the whole angle there, ABC, is 105. We know this little bit's 35, so we take it off, going to be left with 70. So that's one approach of many, and I'm sure that there's